Okay, folks. I feel like somebody tonight. I just got off a webinar literally a couple of seconds ago with TrendSpider. Another great time with Team TrendSpider. Great folks. Strongly encourage. Don't. It comes with my silver and gold level memberships. You got to have it. All right, just go to their website. Get it. It's a great tool to have. So I strongly encourage you to become one of their members. All right, let's bring up the futures. What we like to do here, folks, we have a lot of guests here. Sunday evenings, what we like to do is get together with members and we talk about the futures action. And what we'll do is we'll take some chart requests. I'm trying to get, here we go, trying to get Thinkorswim over here. And we already have an interesting evening setting up with the first symbol I'm going to go over tonight is Bitcoin, which is ripping. It is up nearly 5% on the evening. And it's probably going a lot higher from here. This is a 4-hour chart. These will all be 4-hour charts unless I say otherwise. And what we do here, when we're taking a look at the futures, we're just divining how the markets may open up tomorrow morning, not necessarily how they're closed. So right now, Bitcoin looking very, very powerful as we begin the new trading week. I will point out that we have RSI at 79.14. It can go a lot higher. We just crossed the 5% threshold on Bitcoin. Hey, Eric. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you joining. Thank you very much. Is Patrick on? One of our members, Patrick, just had a newborn grandson only a couple of days ago. I want to check in with him to see how he's doing, and his daughter, of course. What else do we want to go over here? I want to take a look at the dollar. The dollar, for those folks that were just on the TrendSpider webinar, I talked about how our core position is in the gold miners, the NUGT. And I never thought about that, Eric. I will say yes, because it's a great idea. How do I work that out? We'll make it happen. Do me a favor, if you would. There's a... Here. I don't think the link is ready just yet. I'm going to pop this into the chat. There's a link there that'll ask you to opt in for to join an email list. You're not going to get spammed. That way I have it. I'll put something together and send it out as a discount code. So yeah, I can make that happen. Interesting idea. Never thought of it. Okay, thanks for joining, Eric. So, as I was mentioning, we are very long of the gold miners. February is not traditionally a good...
Hi, everybody. Dan Ushman here, and thank you, everybody, for being with us on this Sunday. I know it's almost dinner time, but I promise this will be a very interesting and special Sunday chart show. I'm Dan Ushman. I'm the founder of TrendSpider, and I'm your host, too.
Okay. Sorry, folks. All right. So, the dollar is weighing on our gold mining position at current, but the good news here is that while the dollar traded up after hours on Friday, it is now threatening to potentially break this support level, and that would be a very, very good thing for gold and the miners tomorrow. So we'll see what happens here. It hasn't done so yet. It doesn't matter where it's trading at current. What matters is if we close down below this support level here on this bar, that's going to spell trouble for the US dollar. Let's check out gold to see how it's behaving. And for those folks that want me to take a look at any, hey Terrence, if you have any symbols you want me to review, I'd be more than happy to do so. This is your time. It's open mic night, as I like to say. And for those folks that just came over from the Trend Spider webinar, guys, this is what I like to do. I like engaging with my members. I just get a kick out of it. Let's talk about gold, STNE, okay? All right, so gold is up at current. You can see that we did manage on Friday to close above this now support level. Let's change the color. We've pulled back, retested. We're now moving above. I have these yellow lines up here. I call those tripwires. Those are minimal, very minor resistance levels. And at current, we are trading through one of them. I'm not going to get overly excited here about this price move until I see gold tomorrow morning open up and hold its gains. Of late, you've seen some strength. Like last Monday, we opened up very, very strong, only to give back those gains, and it was a rough week overall. So rallies tend to fade at times. So we're in that environment. Again, seasonally, February is a rough month for gold. So we don't want to get lured in. We want to use historical data and the charts to tell us that, you know what, be a little bit cautious right now. Sell covered calls on your gold mining trade. Bring in some cash flow and be defensive at current. And then as we begin to break out above resistance levels, we'll look to add more. Let's take a look at, let's go to the stock market futures quick. We'll go with the S&Ps. Now, this is no surprise here because this coronavirus is wreaking havoc in China. Here, I want to bring up an article off of Zero Hedge. That tells it all. And I'm going to go over a chart of copper. Here you go. Expect cascading global impact as coronavirus causes massive manufacturing disruptions worldwide. So, do I know whether or not this is going to become the great pandemic? I don't know. I'm not that smart. What do I know? I know that you have 400 million people over in China on lockdown. They are the manufacturing hub of the world. You have Foxconn shut down. What's that going to do to Apple products? You're not going to be getting them. So this is a problem, and it's probably going to disrupt the supply chain. Moving forward, you're going to have companies change the supply chain because they're over-reliant upon China at current. China's GDP, Lord knows what's going to have to happen here. But this is a major problem. So is this a great pandemic? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that they are not open for business. And that's going to create a huge problem for the globe, not just the United States, not just China. We're beginning to weaken up here even further on the E-minis. We're down a little over a third of a percentage point. Let's bring up the NASDAQ 100, of which we are currently short. They are breaking down. So you have lower highs, and now we're threatening to break down to new lower lows. This is a problem. Remember, for those folks that were on the Trend Spider webinar, remember the charts I went over, and I articulated the reason as to why we were shorting the triple Qs. You had Microsoft, Amazon. What else did we go over? Apple. Those are the three major components of the triple Qs. And they are very, very overbought. And I am very suspicious of their ability to maintain their gains. And at current, the triple Qs, or the NASDAQ 100 in this case, the futures, are weaker than the overall S&P 500. Would you ever do a spread using options on, is that NO? Any reason to use options on futures? All right, so yeah, if you're a big trader and you want to reduce your costs, you use options on futures. I frankly don't trade futures. If I had a bigger portfolio, I would be forced to trade futures. The options on ETFs suit my needs fine. So to answer your question, no, I wouldn't go shorting the futures. I would short the trip Qs, which I've done. Actually, I bought a leveraged ETF, which is the SQQQ, putting me 3 times long. So I am using a derivative of the options market to get short of the triple Qs. Now, using options, would I use a spread? Absolutely. I think that if you're going to short if I was to short Tesla again, I would probably use a put spread. Why? Because my risk versus the fourth is going to be much higher this time around. Because I could be wrong. I didn't think my risk reward was very, very favorable on the fourth or the third when we went short. This time around, if I got short yet again, my risk reward is not as favorable. So I would buy an at the money put option, or maybe just out of the money put option, and then sell a deeper out of the money put option. At least I have a defined risk to the downside. I have a defined profit potential, but I've also defined my risk, and I'm using the sell that put option to help finance that put option that I purchased, if that makes sense. I've heard that contango in the leveraged ETFs makes them harder to trade for longer than intraday. I don't know too much about that, to be honest with you. There is time decay on the leveraged ETFs. The way I'm long of the NUGT long term, and they're not supposed to be used for long-term purposes. So how do I defend against that time decay? I sell out of the money call options when the shares are in a trading range or they're under pressure. When they're in an uptrend, I'm reluctant to sell covered calls, because if they go parabolic, I want to be able to exit the trade and maybe sell covered calls if they become somewhat overbought. You have RSI at 70, then I would sell covered calls against them, because the IV, the implied volatility, is going to be nice and fat. And once you get that pullback, you book your profits, you move to the sideline. So what I look for are, when I sell covered calls to help fight off that time decay and to generate cash flow, I'm looking to sell options that have the probability of trading 80% or greater out of the money. So probability out of the money, the 32s, of which we sold covered calls on, 82.15% chance of expiring out of the money. I don't want the shares called away from me. So that's what we're doing at current to combat that time decay. Can you look at the GLOP on a couple of other owned stocks you showed on TrendSpotter? Sure, I could go over it. I could do that. Sure, absolutely. Okay, let's go back to the futures. We'll wrap up with the futures. We'll go to the chart requests. And we're continuing to weaken here on the NASDAQ 100. Let's check out the NASDAQ overall. At current, we're down half percentage point. I want to see how we're trading relative to the NASDAQ as a whole. Sorry for the silence, folks. Why am I not finding it? That's the 100. Here we go. That's the 100. All right, I'm not going to waste your time here. Let's leave off with the small caps. Whoa. They're taking it on the chin too. But you actually have, believe it or not, you have the NASDAQ 100 weaker than the Russell 2000. We're setting up for an interesting morning tomorrow. I want to take a look at copper because copper is one of our barometers for the health of China. And we continue to weaken up here. We're down nearly a third of a percentage point on the session. No bueno. Okay. Let's take a look at nat gas. I think Pat was telling me earlier that nat gas, while we're on the Trend Spider webinar, was under pressure. Whoa. Major gap. Let's check out oil. There's a problem, folks. I want to go with the light sweet crude. Wow. Oil's down. We're down almost a percentage point on oil. Now, what oil did last week is that it completely retraced its breakout and had a breakout point failure. It broke back down into a trading range. I think we're coming down here to retest 48.88 per barrel on oil. This is not good. I want to go back to the S&Ps and then we'll go to the requests that you've made. Actually, you know, before we go to the S&Ps, I want to take a look at bonds. They're moving up higher. That means yields are pulling back on treasuries. The dollar, one last view, the dollar is weakening up. So my guess is that gold should be gaining strength. It hasn't, no, not really. It's not. It's still up. It's not capitalizing. This is a concern. Gold should be moving up higher right now, and it's not. You know, it is up, but it should be up higher. Okay, let's go to some chart requests. Question. Guessing futures overnight will trade lower in the Asian and London sessions. Nothing super positive happened. As you know, the Trend Spider webinar, lots of binary events weighing on trades. Yeah, I think the coronavirus at current is a binary event. Even if they cured it tomorrow, the ripple effects of what it's done to the supply chain, global supply chain, is dramatic. It's dramatic. All right, let's take a look at some symbols. That's me. Get rid of me. Okay. I'm going to move up here. STNE. So the way I like to do this, folks, is when I do analysis of a stock, I like to take a higher level view. Meaning, I don't want to go straight to a daily chart. I want to take a look. I usually take the trend lines. I take them off at first. And I like to start with a monthly view. Not much data here. but we are very close to flashing. Assume it's very early in the month yet. So this is just an observation, nothing to trade off of. It's a watch out. We are very close to potentially engulfing, get rid of this, engulfing last month. So we've already taken out the highs of last month. Watch for continuation move lower here. If we engulf last month's move, major problem to the downside. But way too early to make that call yet. Well, this is what? The 9th, tomorrow will be the 10th. Weekly view, bearish reversal bar. They attempted to break it out. That breakout was rejected. So now it's a matter of talking about defense. So last week it wasn't a good week. It was a bearish reversal bar. The probability of us making lower lows is fairly high. So what you would need to be looking at is what's your stop point. And I would be looking at key support being right here, $39.77 per share. If you want to keep it tighter, use around the $40.15 mark. A parent close below that support level next week, you may want to look to lighten up. Daily chart. Now, on a positive note, you may be setting up a W formation here, but this support level needs to hold. Let's throw up some. It's the wrong one. All right, so you see what happened here. We rallied last week, attempted to take out this. This is the second time. Attempted to take out this resistance level and failed. This support level here really needs to hold. Let's overlay some weekly trend lines. Yeah, you have a weekly resistance level there and a daily resistance level. This is going to be a tough level to break through. Now, if we break down below this $40.15 mark, you're going to have support down here at around $39.22. So if you wanted to use that as your stop or close below that mark, that's acceptable as well. Yeah, both lines on Stokes, which are trending down below the 50 mark. So if you get a rally, here's what I always like to tell members. If you get a rally intraday and you have Stokes which are declining and down below the 50 mark, rallies tend to fade. Write it down. Keep it on your computer monitor. Don't get excited. If you rally tomorrow morning on STNE, don't go chasing the shares higher. You want to see a resolution to these Stokes which are in decline. They put in a lower high and they broke down to a new lower low. So you have a downtrend on your Stokes. This needs to get resolved. You can't buy these shares right now. Not until there's a resolution to these Stokes, flattening out, hooking back up, stabilization at a support level on the share price. Then I would look to entertain adding or opening up a position on STNE, but not right now. It's got to hold support. It's under pressure. You're seeing some selling going on here. Let's see what else we got. Spiders. Again, monthly view. We want that higher level. Feel for the market. We do have a new month-over-month high. The question is, do we close there? Weekly view. Before we leave the monthly view, the monthly chart looks great. It looks like in all probability it wants to move up higher. Now on a weekly view, we backed off the highs of the week last week. So if we manage to rally up and through 334 spot 35, in all probability, we are going higher. But here's what we need to watch out for. And you rarely see this. We had a major breakdown below the lower band of the rising uptrend channel, but we managed to recapture it last week. If we fail to hold the support level on the spiders, it's going to validate my thesis that I believe that this market is getting tired and is poised for a pullback. So watch for that. And that support level at current is at the 330 spot 1-2 mark on the spiders. Daily chart. We do have a higher high. Right now, until such time as we rally and close above the 334 spot 35 mark and make a new high, I wouldn't be a buyer of this market. And frankly, you know, there are so many unknowns out there right now. I think that what's happened here with the fact that the market has ignored the supply chain impact over in China has not done the small investor any favor. So would I even go buying at current with knowing the macro, the binary events that are out there that are unfolding before our eyes? It's just a matter of acknowledging that they exist. You have China, which is closed at current. And to think that that's not going to have an impact on the markets is foolish. Now, you're going to have these guys at the Federal Reserve. They're going to be providing a bunch of liquidity. And they're going to try to keep the markets from tanking. But there's only so much they can do. So would I even be a buyer at current on a rally up and through 334 spot 35? Probably not. But you're asking more from a technical perspective. That's what I'd be looking for. A close above that level. Or if we pull back, let's throw up a support level here. You could do this. Down to the 320 spot 60 mark. Interesting, assuming that we hold it. Or if we fail to hold that mark, we're coming down here to 318. So I think there's way too much risk in this market at current. Not enough reward. A lot of hot money chasing the market. And volume was not that great last week on the SPY. So I would be careful here on the SPY, especially given the futures action this evening. BABA. All right, so I'm going to go back to automatically. I don't want to touch anything China. I may have TrendSpider open another window, and it's giving me a trouble here. Let's reopen it. Reboot. Oh, sorry, guys. Log me out. Okay. So BABA. Here's the monthly view. We had topping action back in December, reversal bar, January. We're well off the highs of the month of February, so not good. All right, that didn't work out well. All right, I'm trying to draw a downtrend line. It's giving me a hard time. Lower high is what I'm pointing out. Weekly view. This is a dead cat bounce. If we make a new weekly low, this is a short. Where are my Stokes? Stokes with 67. Watch for a break below the support level. Let's go to a daily chart. This is the line in the sand here. If we fail to hold this as we did on Friday, it's all over. All right. We'll keep this active for the week. Now, let's do a hypothetical. What if I'm wrong? When do I want to buy the shares? Okay. Boom. You're welcome, Eric. All right, what else do we have here? BA, we did. NQ. Is this what you, oh no, that's not right. You're talking about the futures, the E-mini futures? We'll come back to that one. Costco. Love Costco. We'll see how the chart looks. Love Costco. Okay. What I like to do is always look on these monthly charts, do we have a new monthly high? Because what we've seen for the past several months are closes well off the highs of the month. So the high of this month, 313.81. No new monthly high yet. So as far as I'm concerned, I view it as I'm cautious. The shares may be stalling here, especially knowing I have all these topping tails on these candlesticks. That's a sign of distribution. Weekly view. Beautiful week last week, I have to say. Bullish key reversal bar. If you don't get a follow through to the upside, there's something wrong with the shares. They should follow through to the upside this coming week. A beautiful setup here. And a breakout. Beautiful. You can see how these prior resistance levels are now acting as support. Very powerful stuff. Oh, and if I could ask you folks, if you can hit that like button, if you get any value out of this, it helps me out with YouTube. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's go to a daily chart of Costco. And this is the way we normally analyze stocks. We start very, very high level, and then we drill down. A beautiful week last week. What we need to see is a rally up and through the highs of the 24th of January. And were we to get that, and the market were strong, at current, the market's a little bit iffy, but if the market remains strong, then I would be okay with buying the continuation move higher. In fact, so we're good to go. Costco looking good. What else do we have? Any questions at all? Thanks for those likes, folks. Really appreciate it. Hey, John. Okay. SQ. All right. Interesting. Very interesting. First thing that jumps out at me, breakout. Good stuff. So we have a multi-year consolidation here. Okay, let's do this. Very, very nice. We have a triangle formation. We have now broken out. Weekly view. A little bit extended here. Leaning into the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. Me personally, I couldn't buy these shares right now. It's just too extended relative to those Bollingers. But overall, still bullish. I would certainly not short them. So what I would do is I would watch for a breakout here. All right, so I just wrote myself a novel to remind me why I like this. All right, so keep this active for the next several days. And if we break out, then we'll entertain opening up a position. If we fail and we break down below the 77.64 mark, I wouldn't short the shares, but I'm certainly not going to buy it. Oh, let's bring up the raindrops. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, very nice raindrop. All right, for those not familiar with raindrop charting, it's a invention of TrendSpider, and it's a mixture of candlestick charting and VWAP, volume weighted moving average. So the left side of the candlestick is the morning. The right side is the afternoon. And I call this a pregnant candlestick. You want to see, on a green day, you want to see the pregnant belly of the candlestick high up on the chart. What that implies is that you had a lot of buying into the close, and that's very bullish. You don't want to see selling into the close like you had here. It didn't make a difference. We held support, but this is not the ideal chart you want to buy over that pattern. This is one where you get curious and say, okay, this is something I want to watch. Because now I had a great candlestick here. I know I'm close to a breakout. I have a macro breakout on a weekly, monthly breakout. Now I'm looking for a way to get into this thing and now watching for a move higher. Great point. Who brought that up? Red Sox. Thank you for that. I wouldn't have looked. Good stuff. All right, what else do we have? Hey, Pat. How's your grandson and your daughter? GBTC. This is going to change dramatically at the open tomorrow. Let's really quick go over to, look at this. Gold has every reason to be moving up higher right now. Where's the dollar? Dollar's weak. Gold is giving up its gains. Very vague. All right, Bitcoin. I mentioned earlier that Bitcoin was breaking out. It was up about 5%. Hasn't changed much. It's holding those gains. So that being a known, in all probability, tomorrow morning, GBTC is going to move up higher. To be honest with you, I don't like the price action of Thursday and Friday at all. So we'll probably see a breakout on GBTC tomorrow morning. Let's go to a monthly view. We'll stay consistent. Great to hear, Pat. Hey, Varun. How you doing, buddy? What am I doing? BTC. What was that again? GBTC. All right, so the monthly chart looks outstanding. Let's remove this now. Love the monthly chart. We broke out in January, pulled back and did a retest of a support level. This month, now we've just turned green and we have a continuation move higher on the month. This is a beautiful chart. This is absolutely outstanding. Stokes are hooking up, higher low on Stokes, weekly view. Here was our consolidation range. We broke out 2 weeks ago. Last week, again, retested the breakout point. It held, continuation move higher. Breakout validated. It's a buy. We already went over the daily chart. Oh, glad you liked it, Barun. All right, for Barun, Teva. Weekly chart. Ooh, very, very nice. Cup, handle, breakout. But let's stay consistent. You're welcome, William. My pleasure. All right, so Teva broke down here back in May. And it managed to, so far this month, recapture prior support. Very, very good stuff. Weekly view. Now, again, here's a cup with handle formation, and we broke out. Very, very nice chart. Daily view. Nice. We became a little bit overbought relative to the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. However, the shares did exactly what you'd want them to do. Now what we're looking for is a breakout, a continuation breakout on Teva. I think it's going to happen this week. I like the setup here. Very, very nice chart. You had a bullish hammer formation on Friday. Let's bring up the raindrops, see how the volume rolled in. Not bad. Looking good. 4-hour chart. Nice. Probably going to break out here. Love the setup. Do you consistently earn? Ever have any losing months? Yeah, there have been months where we've had down months, no doubt about it. We offset some of that risk. We sell a lot of options, a lot of premium. That's not a way to manage your risk. You don't want to sell covered calls on a stock that's in a downtrend. But as long as that stock is in an uptrend, you continue to generate cash flow. Last year we did on the IRA portfolio. There's no options ability in that account. We did over 40% on that account, and with our account where we have options writing ability, we did a little over 90% on that account. So are there months where we have down months? Yes, there's no doubt. But you have to be able to manage your portfolio. And one thing that we like to do is keep a good amount of cash on the sidelines so that when we see the turn in a position or we see an opportunity, that even though one of our positions may be under some pressure, we still have the capital to try and go back in and open up a new position or add to an existing position when the time is right. So, yeah, of course, we have times that we're down. No doubt about it. You're welcome, Broom. What else do we have? Did I cover everybody's? I think I covered everybody's requests. Roku. I've been wanting to take a look at Roku. All right, we'll come back to the 4-hour chart because it's worthy of a conversation. All right, so we have some issues going on here. Okay. All right, so we're going to clean this up. I have an alert already set here. All right, so no new monthly low so far. I just don't like the fact that we were higher and now we're flirting with the lows of the month. Let's go to the weekly view. All right, so we're in a consolidation here. Here's where our alert is set. We've been looking for a breakout above this upper band of resistance. Last week's price action was not wonderful. A lot of topping action going on here. You have a lot of profit taking going on in Roku right now. Daily chart. Again, we're in a consolidation here. Stokes are very, very weak. I'm going to set my alert for a test of the 119 spot 11 mark. And I want to know if we hit that mark. Because if we see a recovery in the markets and Roku bounces off that level, that would be a good area to open up a small position with a stop loss right below support. That way, if we're wrong, we take a small loss. But it could be a short on a break. All right, so if it breaks the support level, it could be a short. If it bounces and the market recovers, it's a possible long, small opening position. I would be really excited on a close above this upper band of resistance. Then I would be an aggressive bull on Roku. Right now, I'm a little bit cautious. Four-hour chart, not much to talk about here. Not much going on. We may have higher lows here, but we remain in the consolidation. The daily chart is fine for our purposes, so we'll stick with that. Any other? Oh, the Roku earnings of this week. Good stuff. Thank you. You bought more Nugget at $29.50 on Friday. What should be the level? Stop loss to lighten up. Well, with Roku. With Nugget, the first thing I'm going to be looking at is a new weekly low. If we get that, I will be concerned to the point where we'd have to lighten up some. And we will not sell covered calls to defend a position. That's no way to manage risk. If we begin to break down below key support, new weekly lows, covered calls aren't going to help you longer term. It's not a good strategy. You need to either lighten up or sell covered calls and buy protected puts with the premiums. One of the two. So we're looking at a new weekly low. We're probably going to have to lighten up on a new weekly low. And then we would look to, let's get rid of this, sell puts. Once we begin to stabilize, but sell puts, if we lighten up on our position, and I'm still bullish, the macro thesis, the macro story of as to why we want to be long of the gold miners still holds true, and it is. It's still holding true. They're just out of favor. And the correlation between gold and the gold miners right now has rarely ever been worse. Gold has been doing fairly well, where the miners are just getting thrown out like a baby with the bathwater. Nobody wants gold mining stocks. They're buying up gold, but they're not seeing the value in the gold mining stocks. But I can make that story, make my pitch all day long. The price action is the price action, so we need to manage our risk. If we get a new weekly low, we're going to have to lighten up some. We'll look to sell premium, maybe sell some puts at the 25 strike price. If we get hit at that level, I'll be happy. So that's the game plan as we proceed into the new trading week. And I wouldn't be buying any more NUGT until we see a recovery in the share price. You want to see those Stokes? Let's go to the daily chart. We had an outside reversal bar on Friday. Stokes is still declining. Yeah, I know you said that, Pat. I know you said that. You're right. I know you said that. All right. So, NUGT, these stocks need to hook back up before you start thinking about buying anymore. We have to hold support, weekly support, which is down here, 28.93. Let's check out gold and how it's doing at current. Not much. We're holding support. Still up. Check out the dollar. Continuing to weaken up here. And I want to check out bonds. So if we go into the trading week with the dollar weakening up a bit and yields pulling back, that bodes well for the gold and gold mining trade. Bonds are still looking okay. They were higher. Need to see a breakout here. All right. And with that, folks, I think I got everybody's symbols. All right, with that, I'm going to say good night to everybody. Have a profitable trading week. Thanks for joining. If you didn't hit the like button, if I can ask you to do that, I'd really appreciate it. Everybody have a great night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Be well.